Hello, everyone. Hello. Welcome back. The assignment for pattern is right here. Today is going to be the daily review video for January 28th, 1920. January 28th, 2021. That is really hard to say, guys. I'll be honest. Hello, squishy face. It's late here. It's 8 o'clock. We're all kind of stir crazy. So, just briefly wanted to go over with you guys. Go to the pattern slideshow. It is a review for Art 2. Oh, where did it go? There we go. I just wanted to briefly go over with you guys basically pattern. And I know I kind of went over it a little bit the other day, but I haven't really given you guys a really in-depth slideshow in a while. So I thought, hey, why not jump on and do a review video for those people that might have missed it. I will start with a disclaimer. This pattern slideshow is a little bit older. That's why you don't usually see my typical up-to-date background on it. But I thought this one was kind of cool. It's got a pattern built in, right? So let's dive right in. So these are the academic vocabulary terms which you should have done for the assignment on Tuesday. I'm drawing a blank. Yeah, so we briefly went over a little bit of the pattern. I'm just going to just a disclaimer. This entire review video is basically for the entire week this week, from Monday to today. So earlier this week, we did one of the assignments. If you go to Google Classroom in the week 24 review, it talks briefly about what the assignments. I want to say this assignment was Tuesday. Basically writing the definitions with the actual academic vocabulary terms, which are located here. Please make sure you write them in your notes. The whole assignment this week was basically just to take notes on everything except for yesterday's assignment. Wednesday's assignment was a free draw because I unfortunately had to not attend class. I had to go do something, take care of something, and come back. But I was back for 5th. Yay. Anyways, doesn't matter. So, Tuesday, write the vocabulary with the definitions on notes. Take a picture, post that to Tuesday. We talked briefly about pattern on Monday. Let's dive in. So, when we're thinking of pattern, this is a definition of pattern. Ta-da. Each one will have a definition that would adhere to basically the definition on the vocabulary key terms. Pattern. A visual pattern is a repetition of one or more elements. Repetition. Repetition is the number one thing you want to pay attention to when it comes to pattern. All sorts of pattern, but if you notice everything in these patterns, there's something that repeats. If you don't understand what repetition is, I got that taken care of. Boom! Repetition. A repeating pattern of some kind. The action of repeating something that has already been said, written, or drawn. So you're taking basically that original concept and you're just duplicating it in different ways over and over and over and over and over again. Let's take a lovely look at the picture below me. It's an ongoing gift that goes on forever, right? It's the same thing with a repetitive pattern, depending on basically how it goes. All right. So, motif. Repeated placement of a basic unit is called a motif. Now, the reason why motif is slightly different is because it's a concise unit altogether of repeating patterns. So think of backsplash in a bathroom tile, or like maybe the backsplash of a kitchen behind your sink or whatever. It's a repeated pattern, but not everything in the pattern is exactly equal and repeating. So you have this big section here, which repeats again here, which repeats again here, which repeats again here. And then you have this smaller section, which repeats again here, here. They're strategically placed in a certain design. So when you duplicate and copy this one over here, like if I were to copy and paste, they would line up completely. Let's see if I can actually do that. Copy, paste. If I line these two patterns up, it should repeat. I should have done that last year. It's a repeating motif. That's why the tiles, when they're placed together, even though technically if you back out of it, it cuts off here. If I were to repeat the pattern, they line up. Of course, if they're lined up perfectly, and repeat over and over and over again. So that being said, the same thing with this one. If I were to copy and paste, and I put this one literally right next to it or above it. Maybe this would work a little bit better. It should repeat. Whatever. You get the gist, right? You get the gist. Whoop. Come on. So, it's a repeating unit, meaning multiple different repeated patterns in one group that copied and pasted over and over again would give you a motif. You'll find these in backsplash tiles. You'll find these in carpets like area rugs a lot. All right, a planned pattern is something that is planned out and duplicated. It does not actually have to be an exact duplication. A planned pattern can be something that's kind of ornate. I'll get to that in a little bit. But a precise, regular repetition of motifs is a planned pattern. Now I'm thinking my planned pattern is wrong. It is wrong compared to the repetition. Sorry. Have to change that on my slides. But it's basically a repeat. Well, I guess not really. If you look at the pattern on the right, the pattern repeats itself. It's kind of a motif where it's got different areas, but the motif itself, if you don't really step back and look at it, it won't be considered a planned pattern. Anyways, it's the same thing. Copy and paste, copy and paste. Very similar to a motif, but it's precise. Regular repetition. Basically something similar to these. Okay, so that one you can get a lot of leeway with this one, I'll just be honest. Half drop pattern. This is probably the most popular pattern that we go through this entire year, and it is very tricky, so let's pay attention. Think of a mermaid's tail. You have that first row of pattern, right? But then you drop it and you move it halfway. So it's kind of the same thing. You do a row of butterflies and then you alternate like this as you go through the pattern. Or you can alternate like this on a vertical basis, basically kind of like half drop pattern in a mermaid's tail. This one's more of a vertical. This butterfly can be seen more of on a horizontal. Oh, sorry. A vertical axis for the butterflies, a horizontal axis for the mermaid's tail. Anyways, I know I'm really into like very descriptive terms today. Half drop design lowers each row of its motif half the height of the row above it. It goes halfway down and then repeats. But it's always the length halfway down of the original pattern. Same thing with the mermaid's tail. Random patterns are legit, just random willy-nilly style any way you want to see it. But there is an aspect of repetitiveness to it. So the pattern created by change or without an orderly organization. That means that it's not planned out. That's just kind of, that the concept of, like, say for this example here, you're going to be repeating the color scheme and repeating the same types of variations of certain patterns, but they're not done in an organized way. So you can see a repetition of the red and white, or sorry, the red and black with the red and yellow checkered, along with repetitive border type aspects to it, but it's all swayed in a really random way. Same thing with this one. It's got a repeating of black squiggly lines, but it's not done in an organized way. So it's literally just random as heck. It's just really super random. Alternating patterns. This one's tricky. Don't let the simplicity of this pattern fool you. It is not limited to equal spacing or rows of similar elements. The space between the rows may change, hence the pattern over here to the right. The space between the rows may change. It could be wider or shorter, or each of them can contain a different number of motifs. It's all over the place. So just look at it this way. Star, circle, star, circle, star, circle, star, circle. And the colors will repeat as well. Or sorry, will alternate as well. Now you can also do it vertically or horizontally. Usually diagonal, you'll see a repetition basically of alternating colors if you do it that way. Same thing with triangles. You can literally look up alternating patterns if you need a little bit more of an explanation of it. It's really not, this unit's not really long. It's not really in depth, but understanding how to create a pattern and to establish what type of pattern is very big in art. Also super important in design, like fashion design as well. Last but not least is the radial pattern. let's just go back for a split second down memory lane and focus on radial balance. It's a center point and it branches out from that center point in a repeating style. So branching out from a center point, repeating itself as it goes out, thick mandalas, you know, and usually a repeated pattern really is very similar in spacing and pretty close to accuracy as it repeats out. But you can see an irradiating pattern design in flowers, and it is in nature as well. You can find all these types of patterns in RAND, and except for really a planned pattern in nature. You can see something very similar to it, but a planned pattern is very strategic. So, oh, sorry. I don't know why I always forget the borders and the bands. I did the same thing with the assignment instructions too. Go figure. So, borders and bands used to enrich the surface with a decorative decor border or band. So basically around picture frames. You'll see them around picture frames. This is the example I used. You can see them around books. You can see them around flyers. You can see them around an area rug, particularly oriental rugs. The really fancy ones, they have very decorative border bands around it. But it's a repeated pattern, just basically in 90 degrees that wraps usually all the way around a motif or picture or a frame of some kind. It's basically the outside border of whatever you're looking at. So that being said, I'm pretty sure the rest of this is basically just student examples. Please disregard those. They're older and I need to replace them. But I will just give your attention really briefly to the assignment that I have attached. If you want examples, please go to the assignment. I've given you examples except for borders and bands, which I haven't added yet. Again, I'll order it. I'll place it there shortly. So when in doubt, go back to this pattern a review video slideshow, which is located underneath the classwork section in week 24 right here. And then your assignment for the 29th is located here with some nice instructions. I will be also adding a video to this as well. So if you have any questions, please feel free to email me. If not, have a great weekend. I will see you guys on the flip side. Bye.